Here is your first look at Greenland. Greenland is mountainous. Let's put it that way. Some of the mountains are 6,000 foot. Look at that. We're gonna go up to the helipad and watch. You can see small little valley glaciers off in the distance. Look at the mountains. Let's go to the helipad. We are up on the helipad here on Jewel of the Seas. And we are approaching the actual continent of Greenland. And we will see as we get closer chunks of ice that have broken off. There's one off in the distance. You know that 10% of the ice is above water, and the other 90% is below. Alright, so I'm out here on the helipad, and it's cold. It's in the 40s, and the sun is out. Don't let that deceive you. The wind is blowing. So we're going to see some icebergs back here as we come closer to the main continental area of Greenland. So let's flip it around here and show you what we're seeing. And you can see off in the distance, we're making our way into the inside passage of Prince Christian Sound. And we'll get closer to these glaciers, but you can see them right there. This is Greenland. It's not all ice. All right, so here's the other side of the ship. This is the craggy mountains as we approach. And actually you can see all the way out over there where the clouds are. They hover over the land because the land warms up quicker than the ocean, so the clouds will form over the land preferentially. But you can see here very small pockets of ice, and of course in the higher elevations it's more snow. We will see some chunks of ice, and I'm severely underdressed here. I have a t-shirt and a light windbreaker and shorts. That's what I'm wearing, and everyone else is bundled up. So, well, actually, this guy's wearing flip-flops and socks. So, and he's a Miami Dolphin fan. All right. I met one other fan in Iceland. We're gonna go in that, see that passage right there? That's where we're going. Yep. So we're gonna see that. So more to come. We can sit back and wait till we get closer. But that's pretty cool right there. All right, so let's just go ahead. All right, so I went back to my room. I put some layers on. And now we're going back up to the helipad, and we're now approaching Prince Christian Sound here in Greenland, and we'll get a nice look at all the icebergs and the beautiful sights here on the south of Greenland. All right, so here we go. Your first glimpse of the sound as we approach. See some ice. This is all volcanic of origin, by the way. And we're going to go up here. I have a periscope, so I can put this above everyone. Over to the left, we see some big icebergs. And you can see a lot of people out here checking it out, and I see some communication towers, but here in the distance you see Prince Christian Sound. But the first thing you notice, we come up to the chunks of ice that broke off one of the glaciers. And those are big chunks of ice. Those are fresh water, by the way. And 10% of the glacier, or 10% of the iceberg is above water. So that means 90% of that is underwater. So that is huge. So we're going to get closer to these. I'm going to come over here and get some more photos. See a glacier off in the distance over here. I'll show you here. I'll point this out right there. See that? One of many glaciers. So there's the icebergs in the background. One of many sure to be seen today as we approach Prince Christian Sound here in Greenland. We should go over on the other side and I'll show you one of the glaciers. It's a glacier over here. So it's about 40 degrees. It is windy, even though the sun's out. So right off in that valley right there, that's a glacier. You can see all of the people watching from up here, the bridge. All the officers are up there. And as we are getting close to the actual inside passage. Yeah, it's very windy on this side right here. Right, the wind is coming right at us. And that's Prince Christian Sound right there. You can see right at us. But there's an old glacier in there. That's all lava flows from basalt. Okay, taking a look at the basalt. And it looks like you have an andesite dome over there, the light color, which is also igneous extrusive. This is more in silica than the basalt, which is more magnesium. And obviously there's no vegetation, just some moss, that's it. That sound right there. Right to left. So we have to be very careful. There's a little bit of ice right there, a small little valley glacier right there. Right in there. All right, we are now entering Prince Christian Sound. You can see over here the difference in the igneous rocks. This is andesite, more andesite lava from higher in silica, silicon dioxide, less of the darker minerals, manganese, magnesium. You see the basalt is different composition. If you go down the Bowen's reaction series, which they call fractional crystallization, this would be the last to crystallize.
Oh, nice.
You can see one of the many icebergs just floating around. You see the difference in this rock right here versus the rest. This is more andesite, as they call it, and the rest is basalt. And the basalt will crystallize first, and the andesite will be last. As all the minerals get crystallized, the last ones at the lowest temperatures will be as it cools. That would be
So
the last to crystallize.
where the green is over there,
That's
the
all.
salt.
Yeah, that's all.
the
All the
salt
dark
was.
is the salt. Yeah, and this is all andesite, so it's more silicon dioxide and quartz. And the other stuff has more manganese, magnesium, iron, pyrite, or not pyrite.
Pyrite would
Not
be the
pyrite.
shiny. It's the
Yeah.
fool's gold.
It's hornblende minerals that are darker. But in that case, by the time the magma has crystallized, all the remaining minerals would be mostly silicon, quartz, some feldspar. And there's a nice iceberg. You can see where we're heading here. Yep. And there is a nice looking iceberg. Just think 10% of that is only showing and the rest is underwater.
Let y'all step up.
What was the trip we were on where we were up in that thing that looks over and we saw it? You could see the stuff underwater with Anthony and Carol.
That was Norway.
Is that Norway? You could see parts of the iceberg beneath the surface because we were so high up.
And it's a slow cruise through here. As you can see, the inner passage here in south of Greenland, the Prince Christian Sound. And look at that remarkable iceberg. This video.
The serenade.
You can see on the other side a lot of seeps. What they call is the melting ice seeping down.
Is that what creates those
Well, you see all the
fissures? You can see the liquid.
yeah. It's a lot of the water just from melting ice and things just kind of dripping down. But that looks like a dike right there. See that in between? Yeah. All this is similar to what caused Iceland to form, the volcanic activity near the plate boundary.
So all of this is
It's all volcanic,
volcanic all up there.
lava flows and then uplift. The mountains definitely uplift.
Yeah.
There's the beauty of Greenland. Okay, so they said there were some whales spotted ahead, but check out my separate video. I got humpback whales and Isafjordur. But the main focus here is going to be the inside passage in Prince Christian Sound and the icebergs. And everyone is huddled in here at the front of the ship on the helipad. You can see the low clouds.
Few days ago, it didn't have
Just beautiful.
usually have 5 seats across the back. No,
You've done the fjords in Norway. It's just as nice as this. More green, and this is more barren. But this is Greenland. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
It costs more than this.
Look at the low clouds.
Yeah, there's a lot of
first class. Not much.
Well, no, first class is double the price.
Yeah, that's true. Even when you get a flat bed, they're not that much.
No, they're not.
Even use them. Yeah. Sometimes say that you don't have enough.
I wonder if there's anything that really lives any kind of animals other than whales and fish and birds and everything. What the heck do the birds eat?
mean, not during winter.
I don't know.
Maybe they're just summer birds.
Oh, they could migrate.
Yeah.
Come here for the summer then.
And you can see a little bit of waterfalls behind this iceberg.
Yeah.
Hey, check that out, boy. That's really pretty. When we did Norway, they had people, the waiters out here with little hot chocolate trays
Oh,
of
did
hot
they
chocolate. Yeah.
They went to our one stop. Where was it? That was in Iceland. We went to a little cafe up at the one thing. We got 2 little small cups of hot chocolate. $10.
Yeah.
It's quality $15.
But it was good. Good. I thought it was very good.
There's a little baby valley glacier. Or an alpine glacier.
Really? Well, we were, our daughter's in-laws have a place in Laos. Oh, really? She's originally from Spain.
So like all the glaciers that we see in the fjords associated with those, these fjords were carved by large ice sheets during the Pleistocene epoch. 10, 15,000 years ago, this was all carved out by huge continental glaciation, they call it. Huge masses of ice scoured this, created the fjord.
Food. Yeah. We miss it all.
That's a waterfall right there, melting snow. You hear some calving every once in a while from off in the distance somewhere.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm sure that water is pure to drink.
Yes, they do. They got oil and gas and
Makes you wonder what's the other side of those hills because the sun's working.
well, there's a lot of, I'm sure in the back there, there's a rivulets like that.
All right, there is one of the huge glaciers. I'm sure it's got a name. I just heard some calving. Wow, the ice sheet all the way up above. It's huge. That is huge. Wow. Wow. Wow, that is a massive glacier. zoom in a little. Wow.
We're going to have a cruise ship.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, that's like the most massive glacier I think I've ever seen.
Ice collecting.
No, those are passengers.
Oh, trying to get the whale?
Got more dinner
Yeah.
tonight.
All right, so I just showed you the largest glacier you probably will ever see. And now I'm going to go to my balcony, which faces the aft, and it will give you a totally different perspective of the glaciers here. So we're going to go back to the back of the ship and show you the other perspective. So here we go. All right, before we go back to the balcony, I'm going to go up here to the pool deck and show you what's going on here. And they have hot chocolate, believe it or not. You can get it with alcohol. Oh, now they got a guy speaking out here. But I wanted to give you a 360-degree view of what's going on up here.
Quite amazing, and then also try to read the landscape. It's looking at what you see. When you're looking at crevices and you're seeing a lot of vegetation.
Look at this. They have hot chocolate, but you can get your hot chocolate with alcohol.
Stop because it no longer has a slope where water
Here's your
glaciers near
360-degree view.
But it can be identified with linear vegetated areas. So look for that and see how you're able to read the landscape.
I don't know. I think it's all gone. Now you can just have the alcohol. Just, yeah.
We're waiting for that to fill up with
Oh. So people put Myers rum in their hot chocolate? Oh. Pretty, huh? So they do have hot chocolate up here on the main pool deck. And they've ordered refills. There's another small iceberg.
Old waterfalls or in they also may relocate waterfalls. There are a number of those crevices, and again, think about the landscape size.
So they do have a person giving a talk.
Big crevices at one time. They were probably very quite huge historical waterfalls, and some of them, and the amount of
But
water.
really, really cool.
You'll notice by this small iceberg that there is a lot of green vegetation, moss, and you can see, if you look, you can also see some of the stones and rocks in the moraine. So this is an area where a waterfall is coming up from the top, and because of the landscape and position of Mount William, the water stands out, and again, these stones are another example of setting.
So So we're still up here on the pool deck on deck 11, and we're getting a different perspective. It's actually better than at the helipad. It's actually better. Huge chunk of ice. 90% of that is underwater. So you know that's large mass of ice. You can see some cirques up here, just erosional features. Even though this is all basalt, it can still be eroded. Lots of freezing and thawing, causing a lot of the fractures. And there is a horn and a cirque and a small glacier coming up here. So this is way better than the helipad, actually. Let's imagine 90% of that's underwater, so that's a huge block of ice. And you can see a little alpine glacier up there, and low clouds. You can't see too much up there. Lots of ice melting. It's about 41 degrees right now, and it's summertime here. So there's calving, there's melting of ice, and coming up here we have another glacier dumping into the fjord, and you see the features at the top, glaciated features, the horn and the cirque up there. So we're going to be seeing that here in a minute.
Edge of this particular glacier at one time. And so this is evidence that that's where the actual outer edge to the left was, and it has receded back to its current state. So that's one way that we look past, that we can see where the actual where that glacier was. And if you look back, you can see it going on top. So this is connected to the ice sheet of Greenland, but it definitely is bigger than it is now.
So if you didn't hear them, the portion of the little valley there where the glacier is, this is all called lateral moraine. It's all sediments and debris and rocks that were suspended in the glacier, and as the glacier melted, they came out of the mix and they became deposited as unconsolidated debris. And that just shows you how wide the glacier used to be before it retreated. So it was out, that wide. It shrunk. So here you see once again the lateral moraine to the left of the glacier. That shows what the original extent of the glacier was before it retreated. You can see the glacier extending way up there. There is a horn. It's called a glacial horn. And there are undoubtedly blocks of that ice that are calving off of the glacier. We may see some as we speak. You will hear it crash into the water. The natives used to call it white thunder. Let's see if we can see any calving occur.
Looks like some might have happened a little before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so we're continuing to marvel at this glacier off to the side and this horn, glacial horn, and there's another little alpine glacier up at the top. Some meltwater coming down.
On the starboard side, especially if you're on the bow of the ship, if you look back, you will see a lot on a very sloping area. There's a lot of fine sediments as well as various small boulders throughout. There's another example of a moraine that particular glacier at one time had covered over that lip of that hill and went down all the way to where you see smooth rock, but when it descended, it left all that material behind. So another example of where a glacier used to be in the past, all determined because you see that moraine.
I guess they came out and handed out blankets because people are here with blankets. As we, on either side of us, this is like going through one of the fjords in Greenland and Norway. We're in Greenland, but we did Norway last year, and it was very similar in as far as width, but this is all bare rock and ice. In Greenland, it was green. I'm sorry, in Norway, it was green. In Greenland, it's not green, so it doesn't make sense. Why would they call this Greenland if it's more ice and bare rock? It should be called like, this should be called Iceland, and Iceland should be called something else. Anyway.
We are also approaching a small waterfall on our starboard side. And as you follow that water all the way up, you're going to see a couple of things. Again, evidence of a moraine. And so that tells you where, and then very top of that, you're going to see part of that ice sheet that's just kind of just at the top of the lip. There, well, again, that had proceeded in the past down much further, probably almost half the way down this particular mountain, and has since receded. And if you look at the top of that glacier, and then there's a bare spot, and then there's another part with like snow and ice, that bare spot right there would be considered at this point a terminal moraine because that's at the edge of that actual ice sheet. And the moraine that you're seeing on the side, this would have been lateral moraines where it extended. And you can see, basically, if you look on both sides and see where that moraine was deposited, that'll give you the idea of at least the width of that, that little finger that came down in the past.
Upside down? What do you mean?
And you can see up ahead more of the same. Some icebergs, some small ice caps, probably some more small glaciers. Mostly all of these are on the starboard side. Greenland's not very green. I wonder why they call it Greenland.
I thought they should call it Brownland too.
Brownland. Yep. There's the waterfall. It looks like it's in slow motion. And you can see the extent of this glacier, the previous extent of this glacier probably came all the way down to here. And it has since retreated, and now it's right up there. That's called the terminal moraine, where the debris is right at the terminus, of the ice cap. And this is something the lecturer did not explain or point out, but you can actually see what appears to be folds in the rocks. And this looks like when the magma chamber, you had a lot of volcanic activity, tectonic activity, And actually, the rocks, as they were semi-crystallized, they were subject to intense heat and pressure, and you can see the deformities in the rock right there. So that's very interesting. Do you see Sasquatch?
Polar bear.
Glacier.
I want to see a bear.
And from up here, it looks like that you're going to see the ice sheet.
Comes another big ice sheet up here.
And again, as you're looking, what I want you to do is look at the landscape, look for those moraines, and you're going to be able to probably easily figure out that this particular glacier, where in the past it used to feel, and on the sides and actually even out to the front, with all of that sediment and rocks and boulders. So you can see in the past where it was and just how high it was. And once we get through or we can get a better look, we'll be able to see exactly where it is today. And also for you on the port side, there's a
All right, so we are, the sun's starting to come out a little bit. Makes really beautiful photos when the sun is out. We have a huge ice sheet up at the top. Actually, several along there. And the ice has certainly retreated. I'm sure over the last 20 or 30 years, it's probably about 25–30% of what it used to be. The ship has slowed down quite a bit.
beautiful rock formations. You can see again a section at the end of the ice sheet, just on top of it. Just behind the larger mountain with all the moraine on it. And so that's it back there, an extension of the ice sheet, really for the further strength in that area.
You could see right in here, that used to all be full of ice, that thick, that valley right there. Those are all valley glaciers. That was full of ice. Now it's just remnants. And the same thing up here, up at the big ice sheet. That used to come all the way down, but
Be able to see another glacier.
massive, massive glacier. And this little inlet here. We'll be passing that in a minute or so.
All right, so turn around here. You need to just keep your hand on that. So. And I'm not sure. Maybe like a.
Wow, look at that.
We're standing like right in the way of the inlet.
All right, so this is massive. Yeah, it's spectacular. Look at the size of that thing. Oh my goodness. Look at the size of that thing. Never see a glacier that big.
If you look at the side of the glacier, you see very dark material. That's the start and beginning of those lateral moraines that will be left behind as when this glacier does recede. And you also notice it's kind of dark on top. Those are basically also material that is marine material. And as snow falls, and more layers each year, then that particular moraine will actually at some point be embedded in the glacier and deposited in other places as the glacier recedes in the future.
Incredible. Look at this. Just unbelievable. This is like the biggest glacier I've ever seen. Every picture you take, the next one is even better. This is why the ship slowed down and they're actually turning now. Are they turning around in here?
You don't need to. I wasn't sure here.
Are they doing a partial transit?
Interesting map on this app that I have. So we could just be taking it, and like we could take it maybe back there, I mean, it looks like there are several ways to go.
Interesting.
I know, I was hoping that we wouldn't like go back the same way, but
Well, it's possible. This is marvelous. So here's something interesting. This is the rock flour, the pulverized sediment that melted out of the glaciers, and you can see it as the currents push it out, and you see all the sediments that are suspended, the silts. They're very fine pulverized rock. And then you have this massive glacier in the background and some big ice. Right now they're turning the ship around.
In the rock, and that gives you a lot of information of what happened in the past for this area. Glaciers usually mean that's the direction of glaciation, as well as various things such as layers of material that was there. This again, hopefully one of the most spectacular views of glacier that I have ever seen.
Probably that you'll ever see. No one can see glaciers like this, except from a cruise ship.
I was going to say he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking at that and seeing that fine sediment and rocks in the distant past, that area was actually covered in ice also.
So it's almost like they're like giving off gas or something.
All right, so it looks like they're getting closer to this large, massive glacier. They actually turned the ship into this inlet, which I'm really shocked. I really am surprised that they were able to get to this. So we're going to go up front and see what we can see. Oh, look at that. It's probably about as close as they're going to get. Wow. It's massive. Look at that scenery. Outstanding. So we're back here. This is about as close as we're going to be able to come to the ice. It is just the most massive ice sheet, largest glacier you'll ever see. And it's only from a cruise ship. Look at that. That's just, oh my gosh. That's better than seeing the northern lights. Greenland. Wow. It's just amazing. Oh, just amazing. Look at this ice. This breathtaking. It's just all breathtaking. All right, so we're all the way to the front of the ship. It's about as close as you're going to get to it.
It's a good one off you to drive in here.
So there it is. There it is.
Float. You corrected me on the ship.
All right, so this is just an incredible view here. Most massive glacier you'll ever see. It was really cool. They did have a lecturer at the bridge speaking over the loudspeaker to give some of his geological explanations of it. And I approved the lecture. He was very good. He explained everything very well. And that thing's huge. Thing's massive. They did serve some hot chocolate, and it was well received. A lot of people out on the pool deck, and now they are turning the ship around. So I'm going to head back now to my balcony on the aft of the ship, and then see if we can get the other perspective. And I don't know if they're going back to the same way we came or what they're going to do, but we'll find out. Oh, it's a couple hundred, maybe 100 feet. I'm on the balcony now. We're at ground level, closer to ground level, and looks really nice from here.
The waterfalls.
See up there on the right, that glacier up there, and all the debris. That's all called moraine. That used to be all part of the glacier. The glacier came all the way down, basically to the bottom, but now it's retreated all the way up and shrunk. It melted, and that's how it retreats.
So as it melts, it gets smaller and smaller.
As it melts, it gets smaller. All the sediment it was held up in the debris gets dropped off, deposited, and it could reach. All right, so we are back up to speed. We came out of the inlet, and we're back in Prince Christian Sound, and we're actually continuing on the path. So we didn't turn around. We're continuing, and look at the really cool waterfall here. This is just, Alaska on steroids. Seriously. Yeah, it makes Alaska look boring. That's exactly right. Another glacier. My goodness. and a waterfall. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, sorry. And a couple of sailboats. Look at these sailboats. There's one there. There's one up there. Yeah, it's from all that ice. It's just coming down and going on the top. Another glacier right here. Look at that. You can see all of the striations, all of the tracks, all of the debris. You want to get in front of me? On both sides, look at the clouds up there. That's amazing. Truly amazing. You see the water melting from that glacier right there? It's going to be like glacier after glacier. Yeah, it's the climate change. Well, you know, it's a debate whether it's caused by man or maybe accelerated by man. It was going to happen anyway because of the natural cyclical fluctuations. Alright, as we continue along, we see icebergs, we see waterfalls. If they drop you off here, you can easily climb up that waterfall, and surely at the top, on the edge of that, you'd probably see ice.
I'd see ice or a lake.
It's like stair steps. Look at that horn. See that? Right in front of us. That's a glacial horn.
Up there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there.
Yep. Yeah, we're cruising faster now. Look at the color of this water.
Waterfall. There's that ice at the bottom, and that water comes out under it. There's another one. Was that a funny picture?
Yeah, got chopped off.
Salt?
Yep. How narrow the channel is. More waterfall. Yeah. Some of that is, no. Some of it, some of it could be batholith, granite batholith that got uplifted. So it's very possible it could be. This whole thing was the old rocks in the earth got uplifted. So this is some of the oldest rocks on earth are here. So they could be, these rocks like granites, batholith. It could be like very, very old, 200 million years old. Even some Precambrian. Look at this waterfall. Another amazing one. These waterfalls are on each side of us. And the path is getting narrow, as you can see. More waterfalls. You can't even see the top, it's under clouds. You can see how narrow the path is. Now on the other side, look at the glaciers up there.
Over here?
Both sides. You can see the moraine all the way down here at the bottom. That ice sheet on the left used to be all the way down here.
This one was down here.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
was all the way
retreated.
down here.
Look at the other waterfalls here. This will be a cool picture when we get a little further in.
Can you hold this for a second? Wow. Here we have a big waterfall, pretty fast. I thought Norway had a lot of waterfalls. It's rushing. You know what some people are doing? They're eating in the windjammer and they're eating in the back
Yeah.
and with a view.
We got our room.
And we can wait to eat. As we sit here on the balcony, notice the temperature's dropping a little bit. The clouds are starting to come down a little bit. Clouds are getting lower. You can see my charger. The narrow channel. You see the color of the water. This has a green tint to it. It's from the rock flour, the suspended fine silts that the glacier dumped off. When the light refracts off it, causing it to be green. But see the clouds coming down. Clouds are lowering. They get fogged in. I know they're in a hurry to get out of here. They want to be fogged in. Seems like the channel is opening up a little bit where we are now. So I don't know what's ahead of us, but all I can see is where we have been. Ooh, look at this! Wow!
Oh my God.
Oh my!
Huge glacier.
Look at the glacier here. It's gigantic. All right, you can see clouds are starting to drop. You can feel some drizzle forming. And this over here is glacier that is dumping out into, right there, sorry, into the bay. And it's getting foggy, so it's kind of hard to see. But that is actually ice. Dirty ice. That's why we slowed down. The guy up there is narrating, but it's starting to get. And this is very, very different. Well, he's obviously never been to Greenland before. That's why he's seeing things he's never seen before. But this is ice from the glacier just flowing out. It's ice, baby. And it's getting cloudy. The clouds are dropping. Look how eerie it looks. Wow. There is an ice inlet. And actually, to the left. We can't see it right now, but we're going to see more. And here's the ice flower in the water. You can see the difference in the water. With the sediment-laden water, you can see the difference right there. And there's some more blue ice. That's the sediment in the water, and you see the difference. It's more dense in the clear water, but eventually it flows, and it's got all the right. It's called rock.
Is that from what's coming down?
It's rock flour. Yeah, that's all the sediment. The rocks get pulverized into a fine flour, like baking flour. There's the blue ice. And the clouds are moving in.
I hope to stay right up to bigger island. Maybe better.
This is fascinating.
Because it's fascinating. I mean, how often do you see something like this?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So there is dirty ice flowing into Prince William Sound. And the clouds, eerie as they look. Wow. Well, we have left, or are leaving, Prince Christian Sound. And we are heading to open waters. So I hope you enjoyed all of this beautiful footage of Prince Christian Sound in Greenland. And please hit that like button. Thank you very much. Here we are, still in Prince Christian Sound with glaciers above us. That one's barely covered by the clouds, but it's a glacier up there. They're all over the place. And this is some of the oldest rocks on Earth. These are over 1 billion years old, these rocks right here. Over 2 billion years old, some of them. And in the part of Nook, they're going to be 3.6 billion Precambrian. But this is Prince Christian Sound. Look at that ice up there. It's just a small sampling everywhere you look. That is all some of the oldest rocks on Earth. And it's like Precambrian. Cambrian to Precambrian. 2 billion